Hello, welcome to another Parallel Project Running podcast with Naybour and Tom O'Shea. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
So we're working our way through the PPQ qualification from the APM, and we're up to the last section in the governance part of the course, which is benefits management. I must say I find people struggle with this one a bit. I don't know what your experience is, Tom.
Yeah, it is something that some people automatically think, well, it's not what I do, that's what a sponsor does afterwards. I'm not responsible for benefits. And therefore do struggle a bit to understand, what they should be talking or writing about in this instance, and how to answer the questions.
Yeah, especially if they're like a supplier, a contractor or supplier, the sort of benefits is to do with the client. But it's still really important that I always talk about Ben Freiberg's work, that like very, very few projects actually deliver the benefits. And, as a profession, if we keep delivering projects where the benefits aren't attained, then, society is not going to let us carry on doing projects, really.
And equally, very few projects know if they have actually delivered any benefits.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of focus in central government and client organisations is actually, are we getting value for money for all this money that we're investing in projects?
Yeah. Well, there's a whole, I was going to say new discipline, but it's actually been around for a number of years now, which is qualification specifically in benefits management.
Yeah.
And, and I've worked with several organisations where they have dedicated benefits managers.
Yeah. So I think from the APM's point of view, they see this as a very important part of a project and a very important part of a project manager's role.
Absolutely.
In a broad term of definition of project manager. So if it's not something that you particularly get involved in, it's probably an area that you're going to have to focus some time and effort to understand.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you probably do day in. If you're in the muck and bullets of a project, it's not going to be something that you do every day.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, in this assessment, you don't get a choice what questions you answer.
Indeed, yeah. Project managers should have got to bear in mind that the whole reason for planning and delivering a project is to deliver the benefit or enable the benefits. Yeah. So, you are setting things up for the sponsor and the users to get value for the organisation. So it is important to understand those benefits and how what you're doing is going to allow them to be achieved.
Yeah, I think Bent's numbers say, 50% deliver on cost, but 0.5% deliver the promised benefits.
Yeah.
So, it's an area that the profession does need to get better at.
Absolutely.
So let's drill into these. There's quite a lot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's try and do these in sort of like 20 minutes, shall we?
Yeah.
So critically evaluate the importance of confirming the intended benefits are measurable, meaningful to the stakeholders, and relate to the organisation's strategic objectives.
Yep.
So what are we looking at here?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. Why would you want to make sure that a benefit is measurable? Well, you can probably come up with a whole host of reasons off the top of your head for that one. It's to ensure what gets measured gets done. If you don't have a measure, your understanding of better, it could be quite different to mine.
Yeah.
You need to ensure that there is some way of confirming that those benefits have actually been achieved. So where are you now in terms of your current performance and where are you trying to get to?
Yeah, and tie it back to the organisation's objectives and the stakeholders' requirements and needs,
Yeah. And, benefits ultimately are contributing towards organisational success. So if the organisation is going to perform better, then you need to have some demonstrable way of showing how the project and the investment in that project in time and money has contributed to or enabled that improvement in performance.
So would you recommend people looking at the case study that they think about how they would confirm the benefits are meaningful to stakeholders and relate to the strategic objectives of the organisation, specifically for that case study?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're thinking about this particular project in the case study, it might be there's some suggestion of what the benefits are. It's unlikely that there's going to be clearly defined benefits because otherwise there wouldn't be much to ask about. So it's likely that there is some suggestion of the kind of benefits that the organisation might be looking for from this project. So it's going to be important to set out how you intend to clarify what the benefits specifically are for the different stakeholders, sponsor in particular, and how you would ensure that you would make those things measurable. So that there should be enough in there to be identify the source of the benefit, and then for you to think about, well, how would that kind of benefit be measurable in the organisation, and who would I talk to ensure I can get some clearly defined measure for that benefit.
Yeah, okay. So it'd be worthwhile thinking about what the benefits are and then what process you would go through to confirm that those benefits are relevant and meaningful and signed off. So you're going to be talking about either a desktop study or a benefits workshop or benefits meetings with key players or senior management in the case study or organisation.
Yeah, so certainly the sponsor would be the obvious person to go to, but it might also be that you can see, well, this project looks like it's going to deliver an improvement in something in HR and employees, or in operations, or in financial performance, or whatever. So I need to go and talk to this person or that person, because it's probably likely that you would be able to consult the organisation breakdown structure and see who specifically is involved in those areas. So you say, well, person X,
benefit owner,
yeah. So I know that the sponsor will obviously have a view on this, but also person X is responsible for finance or HR or legal or whatever. And so I need to talk to them as well about the benefits and how we're going to measure the improvement that they're looking for.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So let's move on. Critical ways to develop a benefits management strategy. Right. So there's really good guidance on the APM's website about what a benefits management strategy is.
Yeah.
And I would suggest people read that, which records the timescales and responsibilities and roles. So in the study guide, it does actually list out what's in a benefits management strategy. I don't think we need to do that, but ways to develop it.
Yes.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking again about benefits workshops, or we're talking about establishing benefit registers. Was it back to people and process? Is it about thinking about, well, what processes I need to capture benefits and what the people bit? How do I get people bought into the benefits? So how am I going to visualize and capture the benefits, and how am I then going to get people to sign off on them? It's the two ways it's challenging me here.
Well, the first thing is what, like you said, you suggested that you could actually just talk to people. So you could do a workshop, a benefits workshop, where you're going to just discuss what the potential benefits are, and get them documented and recorded, and then use that as a way of developing your plan for how your products that you're providing as part of the project are going to create the changes needed to bring about the benefits.
Yeah.
So you can effectively create, that kind of benefits map.
Yeah.
Product, impact, benefit.
Yeah. Another way I did on one case study we looked at, it was to use a business analyst. So business analysts, actually their job is to identify what the benefits are of a process that you're implementing. More as a desktop study, especially if it's something new that people have not got experience of.
Yeah.
How are stakeholders going to quantify benefits of something they're not familiar with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there are technical experts who can help you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe have a look at other projects and see previous projects that might have delivered something, and what was the evidence or the ways in which you could identify the benefits that those projects had. Can we put something more formal in place that will capture and record the benefits of this project?
Yeah, or competitor benchmarking.
Yeah.
So maybe there are similar organisations that do the same sort of things that you're doing. So you can look at what benefits they've achieved, and are those benefits realistic,
Yeah.
Right. I think it's quite a good discussion, that one. So critically evaluate the importance of prioritising the achievements of benefits based on the level of contribution. So again, there's really good guidance on the APM's website about prioritisation of benefits. benefit prioritisation matrices. And actually, you can go a long way here. Depends how formal you want to get,
Yeah, so benefits basically are the whole rationale for doing a project. So we need to understand, in terms of cost-benefit ratio, if you like, which are the benefits that are going to give the greatest bang for your buck, in effect, for the investment that you're making. Investment doesn't all have to be cost investment; it could be the time investment as well. But which are the benefits that are really key to the project? It's almost like a Moscow type approach. If we had to descope this project, what are the benefits that we really must still try to achieve? And what are the also nice to have kind of benefits, if you like, the spin-offs almost from that we would get at the same time? But if we didn't, then okay.
Yeah, I have seen some organisations do benefits ranking. So they'll have a number of criteria, and then they'll weigh, especially during optioneering, for instance, when they're looking at different options for projects, they will evaluate each option against the benefit criteria and quite formalised ranking methodologies or decision-taking processes. That's a formal way. A less formal way of doing it might be just to discuss the pros and cons of different, the qualitative contribution of each option makes towards the benefits.
And, you can also think about it in terms of the stakeholders. So sitting and discussing with stakeholders individually, which benefits are important to them. And you could cross-reference that across to the stakeholders' importance to the project. So this stakeholder is really important, and the benefits they're looking for are these. So maybe the focus ought to be more towards that area.
And again, depending on the scales, complexity, size of the case study, what you recommend has got to fit. So you're not going to do a 6-month benefit study for something that's only got 8 weeks left to run, for instance.
No, absolutely.
So is this another one where they're going to say, critically evaluate ways in which you can prioritise and why it is important?
The question could be asked in two ways, which is to simply, as it is on there, evaluate the importance of prioritising achievement of benefits in Project X, or evaluate two ways in which the priority of benefits could be defined based on their contribution to the organisation's strategic objective.
And then the next one, now this is moving on. So I think when people read these, sometimes they think, those look very similar, but actually this one is moving on. And this is moving on to realisation of the benefits. So how are we going to track, forecast, monitor, plan when those benefits are going to be realised, and when can we realistically expect to achieve those benefits?
Now again, this is something that PMs may think, well, this is all post-project stuff. I'm not around. It's the sponsor and the user to sort this out. But it may well be that there are things that need to be put in place by the project that will enable the measurement of those benefits to be undertaken.
I once did a project on project procurement systems, public procurement. So it was about changing the legislation in a country. So introducing new legislation, introducing new procurement systems, and then retraining the people who work in the procurement office to implement the new systems. But the way you won't measure benefits is by increasing competition and reducing corruption and encouraging SMEs and all that sort of stuff. But you need to build that benefit tracking into the software. So when you're designing the software, you can build in the KPIs and the measures that you're going to use. And it's really difficult to then retrofit that. Once you've built it. So I think it is important that project managers think about how we're going to measure the benefits.
Absolutely, part of that might start by establishing the baseline. So it may well be that, we want to achieve a benefit of a certain kind, but we don't know where we are at the moment. So as part of establishing the baseline, there might be some additional work that's needed in the project, and that's going to have to be funded as well. So that's the first impact we're going to have to consider is, well, if I am going to set up benefits realisation, then we need to establish that baseline, which is going to require time and effort. And then moving forward, You might want to have a look at, again, that's looking at the process part, but you might also want to have a look at the people part. And, what do the stakeholders think is the most effective way to measure benefits once the product's gone live? What are the different perspectives that finance might have compared to operations or customer service? Who's going to measure it? For whom is the benefit most important? And, what kind of indicators are we going to put in place that show we're achieving the benefit? So we can start with a baseline, but we don't want to wait, 6 months or a year before we find out if we've actually achieved a benefit. So what are the KPIs that we're putting in place that will enable us to understand on a monthly basis, for example, or 2 or 3 months, whether we're on target to achieve our benefit?
Yeah. Do you mean during the delivery of the project?
No, post-project.
Okay. I did meet a chap who worked at an airport in Scotland, and he said when they do the gate reviews, the design gate reviews during delivery, they also forecast the benefits.
Yeah.
So they're designing an airport, for instance, and he said they might redesign the airport so that they can get more retail units in, for instance.
Yeah.
Because that's how airports make money, by selling you coffee and sandwiches.
Yeah.
So the benefits is not just something that happens after the project's delivered. So they said he was really interested. He said they do a cost plan review, but also a benefit plan review as part of the gate design reviews. That was quite a good example of how you would monitor the benefits during the execution of the project, not just after.
And what you've actually done there is gone into the next topic, which is critically evaluate ways in which to maximise achievement of the planned benefits.
Okay, so that's like building the philosophy of benefits into the way we manage the project, is it?
Yeah. So your design reviews, we're not just looking at will this design enable the benefits to be delivered. We can say, well, is this the most benefit we could get, or could we do a redesign to actually incorporate, in that example, more retail units that would enable this benefit to be even bigger?
Okay, and that links back to our change control process, doesn't it? Because if there's a change that's going to maximise the benefits, we definitely do it.
Yeah, and the design stage is the time to do that, not when you're halfway through building the airport and somebody says, oh, I think it'd be better to have 3 more shops over here.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah. So just going on to that 5.5 about maximising the achievement of planned benefits. There's that kind of design and benefit delivery integration or mapping would work. Looking at ways in which you could structure the schedule so that the things that are going to deliver the highest priority benefits are achieved first. Yeah, that's another thing, because if you're going to have to de-scope the project or modify it in some way, you want to have achieved the things that are going to deliver the greatest benefits to have been done first.
Yeah, that's what Cotter calls early wins, isn't it? Building in your early wins, deliberately targeting something that's going to give you an early win, early benefit.
And also looking for other benefits that could be achieved as the project's progressing. There are sort of hidden benefits that sometimes emerge post-project, like this additional sort of spin-offs that have happened that you hadn't anticipated, new opportunities, but have a look for those during the project as well.
Yeah. So one of the chaps who was working on one of these big infrastructure projects told me that they had a piece of land that they didn't need, and they were going, "Oh, could we build a Costa drive-through on it?"
Yeah.
And it's just a way of maximising the benefit to the project, is by using what would be a waste, a waste piece of land and getting some benefit out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's looking for those kinds of opportunities as the project's progressing. Now, again, sometimes project managers get up to their necks in all the muck and bullets of what's going on. And, it's bad or difficult enough to keep everything under control without stepping back and looking at other benefits as well, which is possibly only going to create more work.
Yeah.
But it is important to do, and is something that could be incorporated a couple of times into some of those formal reviews that might need to be undertaken.
So given it's an area people don't look at very much, there are a couple of references in the book. One is the Guide to Effective Benefits Management for Major Projects. from the Infrastructure Projects Authority, which is a good read actually, because it sets out the project life cycle and the benefits life cycle side by side. You don't have to read it all; it's quite a long document, but look at the pictures.
Yeah.
And then the APM have actually got a good mini guide on what's the benefits management and success, which we've got the link in the study guide for. So I think, those are documents that if benefits management wasn't what I did every day, I would definitely download and have a read through those, really, just to sort of fill out because you need the knowledge. I know you said it's not a knowledge assessment, but you do need some of the knowledge if you're going to frame a solution for this project.
Yes, having the underpinning knowledge enables you to structure your answer.
Yeah.
And, think about the things that should be considered. So I think, as we've said previously, you don't go and just learn the knowledge and spout the theory back at the assessors. Just get an understanding of the basic principles of benefits planning and delivery, and think about how's that relevant in this project.
Yeah. And how would I apply those principles here?
Yeah.
Given the scale, timescales, the budget, the maturity of the organisation, the scale of the benefits. I've got one little question to ask you before we finish in a 2-minute answer. What if it's part of a programme? So the project is part of a programme.
Yeah.
Is it the project manager's role to do benefits, or is that the programme manager's role to think about the benefits?
I think it's the same whichever. Whether it's for a program manager or a sponsor, the project is creating a product that's going to enable benefits to be delivered.
Yeah, okay.
So
very good answer. I mean, my answer to that is, you still need to have a benefits management plan. If that's integrated with the program management benefits plan, that's fine, but you still need to have one for your project, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the achievement of the benefits maybe depends upon other projects within the program, but that doesn't mean you don't have to have a benefits management plan.
Yeah.
Good. Great. Thank you very much, Tom.
Okay, thanks.